Welcome to episode 2 of the Vancouver Warriors podcast. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome in. For the first time, I would highly suggest going back and listening to episode 1 or watching as well. You can find that anywhere you get your podcasts or on YouTube as well if you want to watch along. If you're joining us for the second time, we thank you as well for joining us. Say welcome back, and thanks for all the kind messages. Going back to episode 1, my name is Tino Fera. Joined alongside my 2 co-hosts, Marcus Klarich, Owen Grant, once again. And gentlemen, you've made it through your first week officially as podcasters. How is the fame been treating you so far? OG, how did you make it through the first week?
It's been tough walking on the streets of Vancouver.
Camera angles have been tough, huh?
Yeah.
I caught a lot of flack.
I was going to ask, did you wind up getting fined in court for your old comment?
We skated.
We did not get fined, but Dix came up to me. He's like, I heard you call me old. So I had to reiterate that it wasn't a bad thing, but it was funny.
You out.
Yeah. I might have got ratted out by somebody, and I knew who it was right away.
Got to be nice to feel, though, that the boys are listening, right? That's got to be keeping you honest a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Okay, well, let's talk about that the court comment a little bit from last week, specifically because I think there are some people that might be listening to this that might not exactly know what court you guys are talking about. So take us through a little bit. What is this court process? Who is the judge? How does this work on a weekly basis?
Yeah, so a lot of sports teams, not just lacrosse, have a kangaroo court, they call it, right? Just to keep it pretty light in the locker room, but you usually have the more veteran guys will be, the jury. And then for our team, we actually do it out of a hat. Some teams go around, you raise your hand, you got to say a fine, and you got to, put your name behind it. But our team does it a little more blind. So you write it down anonymous on a piece of paper, you throw it in the hat, and then Adam Charlene Beatties reads out each fine. And you get a chance to either defend yourself or challenge it. If you want to challenge it, you got to go explain yourself to Brett Midsky, our captain.
If you challenge it, you lose. Well, the second you stand up to challenge it, you're done.
It's pretty much an automatic loss, but you have a chance to maybe get out of it, or the fine doubles. So, yeah,
high risk, high reward.
It's always a double. Like Marty this weekend got doubled as soon as he stood up. It was done.
Marty did have a steep double. It's just a way to keep guys accountable, get some laughs. It's funny, like what certain guys will remember from the week prior, or if it was on the bus or in the airport or whatever it is. So, yeah, it's good stuff.
All right, well, it might be a bit of a sore topic here, but let's just rip the Band-Aid off right away. Week 8 against San Diego winds up being an 11-9 loss. Super exciting game by the end of it. But I want to hear your guys' initial thoughts on the game overall before we kind of get into the thick of it here. Marcus, maybe we'll start with you. Take us through your thoughts on the overall game versus San Diego.
Yeah, I think it was obviously a tough game, and our offense, we have so many studs, right? And we are starting to work together more. I feel like nobody just sort of found their rhythm. It was one of the tougher games for us. And we've sort of noticed that throughout a little bit. We've had sort of good moments, bad moments. I think now we're going to start picking it up now that we're getting into this rhythm here. We have some great leaders on offense and some great ball carriers, some guys with great vision. So I think it's going to get better moving forward. That game, it was some things didn't go our way. Maybe ball was in our stick a little bit too long, my stick. I had a lot of great chances, and I just didn't execute. At the end of the day, you got to execute to be successful, and I didn't that game. So hopefully I can move forward and try and put the pieces together a little bit more and start executing even more.
Owen?
Yeah, obviously slow start, and can't have a slow start, especially when we're expecting them to come out hot. I said it last week. They were in a tough spot being at 1-3. Desperate team's a dangerous one in this league. I said that last week, and, they did exactly what we thought they were going to do. Came out with urgency, and it took us almost a full quarter to get going, which is – you take a quarter off in this league, and you see what happens to most teams week in, week out. So it was unfortunate. It came down to the wire. Not the best ending, maybe a little controversial, but you never want to put it on the refs, right? We put ourselves in that situation. We didn't capitalize early, and, we gave them a couple easy leads. So not what you want, but...
Well, we'll talk about the conclusion in just a sec here. I want to ask you, you mentioned kind of a slower start. Do you think that's more so a credit to San Diego's execution of their game plan, or do you chalk that up more so to your guys' slower start?
Yeah, you got to tip your cap to them. They are they're a very athletic team that can play very fast. They can get up the floor quick and transition. They're, I think, the best in the league off the face-off. They got Baptiste, who is elite at what he does, and they know how to play off of it. They got a lot of really good transition players that are very opportunistic. So I think you tip your cap to that, but I think we should have been a little more prepared on our side as well.
Definitely. Okay, well, you talked about the end of that game, super exciting finish, just falling short. Marcus, you were one of the guys that scored in that final minute. Super exciting play, which at the time cut the lead down to 1. I think there was 56 seconds left on the clock. Talk us through that play, because the building just erupted when you stripped Baptiste of the ball and went to the goal.
Yeah, honestly, it was just sort of, you can't think that much when you're out there. I'm never usually on face-off team, but Kurt put me and Dixon out there to try to get 2-0 guys so we could push the pace. And I sort of, it's in that moment, right? You're down 2 with a minute left and you sort of got to go for it. So we usually don't, we're told no, not checking over the head, right? It causes penalties, but I just thought, had to go for it. And his stick was out there, got it, and then got in tight and sort of stick to what I do on breakaways and try to get a couple fakes and then try to put it in. And I got the goal, obviously, and it was pretty cool. The crowd, man, they were phenomenal. There were so many people, and they were so loud. I think it gave us a little bit of a boost, and obviously that next play, right? You got Dixon going on that breakaway, and obviously that controversial call. But I think the fans, they were just a huge part of that. Hearing how loud they were after my goal, and like, okay, we're 1 goal away. We got this shot here. We gotta bear down, and yeah, that was sort of my thinking through it.
I think I know what your guys' answers are going to be here. That Curtis Dixon disallowed goal. Do you think that's a goal, or do you think the refs got it right?
I think it was a goal. I think the initial call on the floor should have been goal, but I understand that it's inconclusive when you look at the camera angle. I can't tell you definitively that his foot was in the crease, but from what I've seen, I think it was a good goal. I think in that moment it should have been a good goal. It's unfortunate, but I didn't get to answer about Marcus's goal, but I was on the back line on that face-off, and when you made that play, like, I kind of had the whole view of the arena, and it was pretty insane when everyone erupted. So I thought that play was pretty sweet. The Dixon call was unfortunate, but what'd you think?
Yeah, I obviously, inconclusive. You can't say definitively, but at the end of the day, you look at who is making the play, and you just look at how many goals he scored doing that in his career here. Like, he does not step in the crease. It's very rare that guy steps in the crease. I thought it was a phenomenal play defensively. Owen made that massive hit on, I believe it was DeChico, and popped the ball loose, and right away Simmer looked at the bench, and you got Dixon running off. You're usually pretty good, and he did his job. He scored. I mean, it's unfortunate the way the camera angles went. We talked about how maybe there could be one on the other side of the goal line, on the other side of the net there, but obviously something, I guess, was wrong with that one. And yeah, I mean, Owen already said it too. We should not be in that position. We know the type of team we are, and we know that we shouldn't be in that position. So we can't put all the blame there. It's just unfortunate that sort of happened, and the amount of momentum we would have had, like, going into overtime with those fans, like how loud they were getting and how much into the game they were, it would have been very cool. But yeah, you can't chalk it up to that. It's a full 60-minute game. You can't break it down to whatever 10 seconds it is at the end there.
Let's talk about the crowd in that game a little bit. I already mentioned it a couple of times here. Just shy of 11,000 by my understanding, which, from what I've heard, the biggest crowd in the history of the Vancouver Warriors. And I want to hear your guys' perspective on the evolution of kind of the, like, intelligence, lacrosse specific intelligence of Warriors fans here in Vancouver. Like, I'm a little bit older than you guys, so I come from the days of, like, watching the Vancouver Ravens and then watching the Stealth, and of course the Warriors as a fan before I got involved on the media side of things. But what was really special from my perspective was to see how, like, informed all the fans were in their own right, like being able to understand how big of a goal yours was, Marcus, in the end of it. And of course, like, there's some stuff being thrown on the floor on the disallowed goal from Curtis, and you don't want to see that, but you do want to see a fan base that cares. You know what I mean? Like, you would probably be upset if you saw a fan base that's dead silent when a goal like that is disallowed. And there have been times in this arena where, like in past, you can go back to the Stealth days as well, where the crowds have been kind of quieter before, but in the last handful of years, things have been getting a lot better and more full and louder. So as two guys that have been here for a little while now, what can you say about the progression of like the IQ, the lacrosse IQ of the fan base here in Vancouver?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've only been, this is year 3 for me, but I would say even over my 3 seasons so far, you can feel the passion for the actual game kind of building more and more. This year's been great. Again, you don't love seeing. I personally do like seeing fans throwing stuff at the end there a little bit. I don't want to see it every week, but I think it showed that they cared, right? I think there's times where our crowd can be, maybe a little bit more of a party atmosphere, and people are there enjoying the music and everything. So I think it shows that people are really there to take in the game and they're cheering for us, right? So I thought that was really cool to see the passion shown there. But it's been awesome. Like 11,000 people in Rogers for our game is unbelievable.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is like we have the Warriors Elite Academy and we coach, and I see all of those kids every single home game. It's so cool. Like I see them, they're all asking for a ball. Like they see me every week, but they're still that excited to be there and that excited to watch and that excited to just cheer us on. So I think it's really cool. And yeah, at the end of the game, I sort of relate that Dixon goal to last year when we won, I believe it was 14-13 against Georgia, and Keegan had that crease dive against Georgia. It was so loud, and like you almost feel like the arena is like just like buzzing, like shaking, and it was the exact same feeling right away. My mind went to that, and I thought it was so cool. You could barely talk to somebody on the bench, and yeah, it shows that they care, and it's awesome because obviously Vancouver is like a really good spot to play, and we're starting to get more fans and more people involved, and I think it's really cool for Vancouver lacrosse.
Okay, last weekend, was also a pretty special one for the NLL as a whole because they did another NLL Unboxed. They had Calgary versus Georgia taking place in Edmonton, sort of a neutral location, sort of testing out some markets as well. I'm not sure how much of the game specifically you guys got to take in, but what do you think about Edmonton as a market? Do you think that's a place? That could succeed in the National Lacrosse League? Obviously, they've had a team before; they've won championships before. What do you think about Edmonton in the future of the NLL?
I think Edmonton would be great. I mean, I remember seeing, like, it's crazy that I'm teammates with these guys, but Brett Midsky or Riley Lowen and Jeff Cornwall, like, they played there and they won championships there, and you see the fans that they had there. I think if they get a team and their team starts winning, they start playing well, it'd be a phenomenal place to play. I was just talking to a couple of the guys that played there, and they said it was so cool being back in Edmonton and just seeing like the turf. They said it was great turf. They said it was a great arena. Like the vibe was really good, and I feel like they would really succeed there. Obviously, Montreal is talked about as a place that would have good fans and be a cool spot to go. So I think it's cool what they do with the Unboxed. I think getting it to as many cities as we can, just seeing which fans sort of have that itch to go watch some lacrosse. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch the full game. I watched the highlights, or I guess the Georgia highlights, but no, it was cool. There's obviously been a lot of success there, and they had an awesome fan base. I don't see any reason why they couldn't get back to that. Like, I think any Canadian city that has an NHL team and has that kind of hockey background, like it's a very easy transition into box lacrosse, personally, I think, at least. So I think it'd be really cool to add to any of those Canadian cities that want one, especially Edmonton. Montreal would be cool too, but I thought it looked great.
We saw a few years ago now, there was kind of I forget what the name of it was at the time, but sort of like a specialty event in the NLL where there was an outdoor game between San Diego and Las Vegas. Felt very like Winter Classic-esque like they do in the NHL. Is that something that you guys would welcome as well? I don't know how realistic that is in the future of the NLL, but there would be some pretty cool rivalries, and I'm sure they could make some I guess neutral site locations for a game like this. What do you guys think?
I think it'd be pretty cool playing. Like, I'm a guy that really never played like field lacrosse, so I don't really know. Like, I did a couple tournaments, whatever, but it's not in me. I'm a box lacrosse guy, and I think maybe playing outside in that like environment, I think it would be pretty cool. I remember watching that game, and I thought it was awesome. I think they got a great turnout in fans too, so I think the fans would love it. Yeah,
I think it'd be cool. I think having kind of building any tradition in sports is really cool. So if we could have something like that in our league, it'd be awesome. I think the neutral site stuff's a really good way to grow the game too. It's, you can go to different cities or towns where they don't really have much exposure to the NLL, so it could be a great way to get some new fans in. I think from a player's perspective, it's cool to travel to cities that are a little bit off the beaten path. Like, we kind of have our normal cities that we travel to every year, so it'd be cool to throw some more in the mix.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the travel situation, because you guys are on the road for your next game. It'll be this coming Friday against just a red-hot Ottawa team who just took down Buffalo in Buffalo. Pretty cool accomplishment for them to be able to take down a team like that in their home barn is pretty special. Talking about like the travel specifically before we talk about the matchup, what is a typical travel day like in the NLL? Obviously, it's different than like the NHL, for example, where you guys are on the road or where they're on the road for an entire week. You guys are there for like a weekend-ish. I imagine get like a team dinner in at some point. Talk us through what a day in the life of an NLLer is when you're on the road.
Yeah, usually it's so for example, this week we play on the Friday. So Thursday we'll travel. Flight will be around 8 o'clock. Get there, I think it's around like 3:45 Eastern time, and then grab a dinner. Usually we have practice, and then hang out with the boys at night, go to bed, shoot around in the morning, film, get your pregame nap in, and then game. And pretty much after that, it's you grab some food with the guys, and then you're out pretty early the next morning. So it's not like a long travel sort of couple days. I think they do it pretty well. I think we still get our chance to get good food in, be with the guys as much as we can, and sort of get a practice in and keep the sticks in the hand. So I think they do it pretty well.
You guys have a favorite spot on the road?
I think you're leaving out how much cards we play on the road too.
True.
Like,
we're playing.
We got a good group of guys that all love to play cards, and we're bantering the whole time. But we're playing on the plane, we're playing in the airport, we're playing at the hotel, like on the bus. So we're always, especially us, we're always messing around, playing cards, playing games. It's pretty fun.
It's usually the same people winning and the same people losing every time.
Are you a winner or a loser?
I won once, but I'm usually a loser.
Mark's is what we call a free donation.
Beersy is what we call a cheater.
Wow, sour grapes. Okay, well, let's talk about the matchup against Ottawa. Obviously, they're a team, like for anybody who is unaware or new to the NLL, feels pretty safe to say a generational talent over there in Jeff Teat. And it's been pretty cool to see, like we talk about the evolution here in Vancouver, it's pretty cool to see the evolution with that group, formerly in New York, now in Ottawa. They got a new coaching staff and everything. And I think in the past, like you've seen teams, like their plan for Ottawa has been to sort of lock off on Jeff. And in the past, Ottawa maybe hasn't always had a plan for that, but they've really built an identity over the last handful of years and now have some really key pieces throughout their entire lineup that can burn teams, so you don't really see that as much of a game plan anymore, as well as they have one of the best young defenders in the league in Callum Jones on the back end. How do you game plan for a team like Ottawa that has so many studs everywhere throughout their lineup?
Yeah, I think this year, more than in the past, they've really shown that they're playing a much more well-rounded game. They are scoring a lot of goals, and they're scoring a lot of different ways. Like their 5-on-5 offense and power play are obviously really good, and we've known that. But they're scoring a lot in transition, off the face-off, shorthanded. Like, they're putting the ball in the back of the net a lot of different ways, and they're doing it by committee. Like, I think they have like 3 guys, maybe really high up. I don't want to say top 5, but top 10 in the league in assists, I believe. Yeah, so I think they've been sharing the ball a lot more, and they have a couple more threats. And yeah, so obviously a really, really dangerous team that we're gonna have to be, conscientious of in transition and try and win more of the settled 5-on-5 game. But yeah, we're gonna have to do a lot of different things to beat them this week.
Definitely. Okay, well, that's going to do it for episode 2 of the Vancouver Warriors podcast. Again, next game for the Warriors. You guys got a big schedule coming up, as we talked about last week, but your next 3, you got this Friday against Ottawa on the road. You're on the road again the following week against Rochester, and then you play the second half of that back-to-back against Rochester back here at Rogers Arena on February the 7th. That'll be the next home game for the Warriors. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us for another episode of the podcast. We will see you again next week, and for those of you listening and watching along, we thank you for joining us for another episode, and we will also see you on the next episode.